So right now will be the task that is given to us is to compare two companies, and we have selected Marvel versus DC. So Marvel versus DC. So do you guys want to start it off first?
Can I start first?
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, like based on what I research, because I don't really read comics that much. So like what I found in Google, Marvel is like less serious, lighter, and it focuses on entertainment. While DC, its character are often known for being dark, serious,
Mhm.
and brooding.
I
And
agree.
then and then what I search again, Marvel is like fantasy adventures, I think, and then DC is like character study. And DC is older than Marvel, right?
I believe they start both on the
Or
same
the
year.
same year.
Yeah, 1939. So, if you guys want to know, Marvel started in 1939 and is called Timely Comics, while DC started in the same year, 1939, and its first name is called National Allied Publications. So I have to agree with you saying that DC has a more like serious, darker undertone because if you look at one of the more popular movie, which is say The Dark Knight, it's very like raw, very gruesome, like aimed towards like adults, right? But Marvel has a more like children centered, like the fantasy style, like very light-hearted movie, like you said, yeah. And one of the things that I noticed, they tend to put a lot of like recently, a lot of like Spider-Man movies. Like if there's even a new Spider-Verse movie this morning, they announced across the Spider-Verse, yeah. So yeah, they're aimed more towards children, lah, in my opinion. Mhm. How about you, Iqbal?
Uh, yeah, I agree. Personally, I've watched almost every of the Marvel movies that's been released, at least from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as they call it.
I see.
But when you compare it directly with the DC movies, you can see that, as mentioned by Irsyad there, the Dark Knight series is
Mhm,
just fully about the action, fully about the fighting mostly.
mhm.
There's not much like comedy put in it, whereas Marvel,
Yeah.
as much as serious as it can be, there will still be some comedy points somewhere in the movies. And for the history, Marvel has always been making characters that applies more towards children. So, for example, they have Squirrel Girl, which is more
Oscar
of
Girl, yeah.
adventure character in the comics, instead of like just full fighting against the enemies, something like that. Yeah.
Like you said, even they're more like mature movie like Marvel with Deadpool. Even Deadpool is very funny, comedic in a sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's also a key point for Marvel as well. They're not afraid to go outside the box. For
Mhm.
example, with Deadpool and She-Hulk, right? One of the recent
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
That they are not afraid to be breaching the fourth wall character. Fourth wall is pretty much like coming in and talking to the actual audience.
Mhm.
So I think that's another key point for Marvel, which I think thrives more in the recent cinematic area than compared to DC, where DC focuses more on their characters at their own and
Mhm.
not really just having fun with it and be more serious with it. I think yeah.
Even between the companies, I think they both also have their own all-star superhero team. So like the Marvel has Avengers with Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Captain America. DC on the other hand have the Justice League, which is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Even between those, even the similarities, I also can see them having what do you say, multiple timelines, multiple universes, like
Mm.
in DC they have Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3 and stuff like that, while the Marvel universe, I think they also have the multiverse and stuff like that,
Yeah, I think
like
it's like when it comes to creating comics, I think it'll come given that there will be alternate universes,
Mhm.
because they're story makers, right? The ones that make the comics are story makers. So maybe in their head they wanted to be the heroes to become the villain, for example, right?
Yeah.
What happens if the heroes becomes the villain? So I think also that's a given for when it comes to creating comics, and it's beautiful because uh when the characters meet up with other characters from other universes, and that's a beautiful concept when it comes to the comics, because it's just comics are pretty much like to help us be more imaginative, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
it's actually pretty cool. When it comes to the movies, the recent movies, I think, if I'm not mistaken, DC hasn't touched the multiverse topic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
In the
think they're still
movies.
focused on building their current universe, while Marvel is already pretty much dive deep into the
Mhm.
multiverse, especially with the Spider-Man movie that's just announced, right?
Mhm.
They're talking about how, when they want to explore the other universes
Yeah,
where there are other Spider-Mans.
yeah,
So whether there is like the futuristic Spider-Man or the old-time Spider-Man,
yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe like from the
Spidey.
previous movie, the cartoon pig Spider-Man, and that was
Yeah.
pretty funny. Yeah, I think the multiverse concept is actually pretty. It's pretty hard to comprehend because it's hard to understand how the multiverse work, but by Marvel using the fun part, it's not really affecting the audience understanding.
Mhm.
Mm. So
Um.
you mean that Marvel is more understanding compared to DC?
Yeah, how the multiverse work for Marvel is more of like a fantasy, as said before, while
Mm.
DC always tends to give explanation through science on how they explore the multiverse.
Yeah.
One of the more correct way that DC made their multiverse, I think the only time they mention multiverse is in the Flash series.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
explore
Yes.
multiverse a lot there, but not in
Mhm.
the mainstream movies, right?
Yeah. Not in the
Uh,
movies.
yeah, they also quite mentioned that the universe of the series is very much different with the universe of the movies, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, in the Flash movies, they explained through science, right? Because he's a scientific genius of some sort, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So they found a way. They built a machine to go to these universes, and yeah, most of the times it's not involving magic, or it's not involving uh, timeline collisions. Whereas in Marvel, in Doctor Strange, yeah, he used a spell and it caused a timeline
Yeah.
collision.
Yes.
Yeah. Just by magic.
Which most of the
Right.
time, if you are not able to hide the fact that the multiverse collision is just happens like that, then it'll be confusing, like in Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
What are you guys' opinions on like equality and stuff? Which would you guys think like have more representation? In my opinion, um, Marvel has like a more diverse cast. In my opinion, like let's say they have Miss Marvel, which is like I'm not sure Arabic girl superhero heroine, and then DC also have stuff like that like the what do you call him, the cyborg guy. He's also like a more like sorry for using the term like non-white person. Yeah. So what do you
Mm.
guys opinion on that?
I'm not sure because I don't
Okay.
watch that much Marvel or DC, but I think it's DC based on what I research,
Hmm.
because like I search all, like I search like Marvel versus DC. Most
Hmm.
of them say that DC has better variety of
Right.
characters.
I see.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
think DC then.
yeah. DC. I think when it comes to how diverse the character is, I think yes, DC still I think tops Marvel, where DC has like a lot of alien civilization more
Yeah.
so than Marvel. Marvel focuses a lot on heroes that are actually from Earth,
Mhm.
or if there is some outside mythology, for example Thor, it bites onto mythologies that comes from stories from Earth, right? Because
Yeah.
those stories like Thor, Odin, and
Norse.
Loki, those are based on Norse mythology, which is from Norway, right?
Yep.
Whereas DC, Superman is from was it Krypton? I think, right, Krypton.
Yeah, Krypton. Yeah,
That's not
it's
that's not
crazy.
a planet or a fable from our real life, right? So that's just a
Yep.
created characters. So yeah, I think when it comes to diversity, DC has more power to do so. But when it comes to representing, for example, the equality between male and female characters, and then the ethnicity, I think Marvel still tops that, because you have, for example, the new Black Panther movie. So pretty much the Wakandans pretty
Yeah.
much represents almost non-white skin colored character, right?
Hmm.
So they represent African tribes as well, based on their clothings, and their civilization. Pretty much is almost the same.
Yep.
And but then you have the Namor, right? Namor is from a Latin, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, more like a Maya or Aztec ethnicity, right?
Hmm.
uh, Even though they have different ethnicity, their goals remain the same. They have their own kingdom.
Yeah.
Uh,
True.
they are there to protect their kingdom, right? As mentioned by Irshad before, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, right?
Kamala Han.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's Arabic. It's the first time in any of Marvel or DC or superhero movies where the main protagonist is an Arab or a Muslim character, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's also a great thing, because you don't really see often in uh, English produced movies where the main character is a Muslim.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
not much out there
Because
because
Yes,
they
of
true.
tend to
our
have a negative
perspective.
view on it. Hmm.
Yeah, because they have a negative view on how Muslims or pretty much Arabic people are.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see that they are trying to reach the Muslim
Yeah.
audience, the
Hmm.
more Middle East audience, right?
Mhm.
Because yeah, they USA in general doesn't have a good history with them.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
So
yeah.
that's all. Because we're running out of time. And which do you guys think? Do you guys would like more between Marvel and DC? We can start with Iqbal, between Marvel and DC.
I mean, if you ask me, I'm very biased, and of course, I'll
Yeah.
choose Marvel
All
because
right.
yeah, I've watched from the first MCU movie from Iron Man
Uh,
till the newest one, and I almost never miss all of them. So yeah,
I
it
see.
has to be Marvel for me. Yeah.
All right, Arika, how about you?
Maybe
Like, if you
Marvel
want to,
too.
so if you want to start
Yeah.
watching the movie, you want to watch Marvel. All right.
Yeah,
So
because of its design. Because it's
yeah.
more like it's more interesting
Uh-huh.
because maybe is it just me or anyone like when you watch a movie you actually look at the thumbnail first before you
Oh,
actually went like watch the movie, so I think I'll go for Marvel.
okay. I actually watch both Marvel and DC, but between the two, yes, I agree. I really like Marvel more. Yeah. All right. So that is all from us. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.